everyone, it's Book Crazy Katie. This is a reading update and review of Crank.
Please check me out on social media at the following links. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Book Crazy Katie. It's nice to talk to you guys today. So today's video is going to be an update on where I am in my July TBR reading goals, and also a review of the book Crank by Ellen Hopkins. So far in this month I have read about 16 chapters of Sense and Sensibility. I have finished reading Crank, and I am about halfway through Leanne Moriarty's I am halfway through Leanne Moriarty's The Husband's Secret. I will hold what I have to say about this book until I do my review. And so far I'm enjoying Sense and Sensibility, and I have found it to be relatively easy to read classic so far, and probably could have finished it if that was the only book I was reading by now. However, I'm trying to pace myself along the whole month with that. With The Husband's Secret, I have been enjoying it, and I've been enjoying it more than Big Little Lies so far, but not quite as much as What Alice Forgot. And one thing I'd have to say about Mariah Torey's work is I feel that she always seems to use like a similar formula when she writes, and a lot of times her books will tell the stories of or have the viewpoints of 3 different women in it, and a lot of times there will be at least one of the women is going to be in their 40s, and that there's going to be stuff dealing with school, and it's always going to be a mother with children, and there always seems to be one character that has 3 children. One other thing I've always noticed is there always seems to be some kind of big event that happens towards the end of the book where something crucial happens, and What Alice Forgets is a Pi Day event. I think it's a parents' night kind of thing in Big Little Lies, if I remember correctly. And I can't remember exactly what it's a pirate party for her youngest daughter's birthday. Or for Cecilia's daughter in The Husband's Secret. I would like to see her change some stuff up. Maybe write a novel that's from a male's perspective, or a younger character's perspective, or people without children. Maybe have it so it's not about family life, and I'd like to see some variety in the writing. But otherwise, I do enjoy the novels that she puts out. That's where I am in my reading right now. And so I'm going to move on with the review section of this. Like I said, I read Crank and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And it was a difficult read and content since you're dealing with meth addiction and seeing somebody that had their whole life ahead of them, destroying their life and making poor decisions that are going to impact her for the rest of her life. This book takes place with Christina, the main character, going to visit her father, who she hadn't seen since sometime when she was little because he's not really in the picture, and her father is addicted to drugs. She's at first very repulsed and disappointed in the attention that she's not receiving while she's there. And she ends up being bored, and she goes outside, and while she's outside she sees this guy and this girl talking, and she happens to find this guy to be attractive. So once the girl goes inside or does whatever she went to go do, Christina starts talking to him, except for whatever reason she tells him that her name's Bree, and she since she knows she's different than him, she puts on this persona because she wants to be seen as being cooler than she is. She tells him that she's breeding and kind of like changes stuff about herself to make her seem more appealing to him. And while she's hanging out with him, she gets introduced to some new things, and she knows that he's done meth, and she talks to him about wanting to try it. While at the bowling alley where her father works one night, her dad, this boy, and her, and there might have been one or two other people in it, end up trying doing crank together. She spends that portion of her summer break while she's at her dad's doing crank. She goes home and she tries to be her normal self, and she ends up in situations where she meets some new people and just happens to, like, without really trying that hard, being able to find other people that can get her some meth. She continues to make poor decisions and keep on using meth, and things kind of tumble out of control for her. She ends up in situations that aren't very good. It ends up being a very heartbreaking book. The novel is based on Ellen Hopkins' own experience with her daughter, and it's pretty heartbreaking, and I thought I was going to be sobbing, and I actually didn't end up sobbing, but I thought for sure, like, I read the author's note on the first page and thought I was going to be sobbing, which I'm going to tell you that you probably don't want to read the author's note if you don't like spoilers at all. I'm usually kind of okay with spoilers. I used to spoil books really bad for myself by peeking at the end of the book and trying to figure out what happened to see if I was right with my guesses, because I was too impatient to wait until I got to the end of the book. I don't do that too much anymore, but that's what I used to do when I was younger. But if you don't want to be spoiled, don't read the author's note until after you've read the book, because it's going to give away the ending. I do have to say that this book and the rest of the series is probably going to show a multi-generational look at how addiction runs in families and how these bad choices that stem from the addiction are going to impact the character's life and that of her family. I'm looking forward to reading Glass and Fallout because I really want to see how the story unfolds, even though it's a pretty sad one and pretty personal. And one other thing I want to talk about with this book is that as much as I enjoyed it, and I do appreciate like the creativeness that came with formatting the verse in a way that it makes it a little bit more fun to read, but at the same time it kind of made it a little more frustrating for me to read because there were certain pages where I wasn't sure how I was supposed to read the text on the page, because sometimes it would form like X's or V's, or words would be staggered all across the page, and it took me a while to figure out like what the proper way to read the words on the page were. But at the same time, this creative format helped with being able to put different meanings, or to have words that emphasize similar things stand out more, or contrasting things to stand out more than if it had just been written right next to each other in text and just in straight lines. And so I really do recommend reading Crank. I know some people would probably wonder about whether or not this is suitable for a teenager to read, but I personally don't believe that much in censoring too much of what children and teenagers read. I read what I wanted to when I was younger, and I was capable of handling this stuff. Teenagers and children are both stronger than adults like to give them credit for most of the time. And I can understand as a parent why you might want to shelter your kids from stuff, but I believe that it's important to let them read this and to be there to answer questions for them if they have it. So if you like this video, please thumbs up it, and like, comment, subscribe. Thumbs up it. That would be liking it, yes. Thank you for watching. Bye.